Yes. Who is Jordan Knoxx? Well, I'd say that Jordan Knoxx is a multifaceted brand. Soon, some to still be revealed. On one end, I have most known for my music, my original music, and or my DJing skills. Um, as well, in the past, I was a basketball player. I don't play as much anymore, but I was a 4-year starter in high school, 2-year captain. Um, I did have some recruitments in for college. I decided not to play and focus on my studies. But I had some life situations that got in the way of all that. But in going to college, I wound up finding the stage. And through my poetry, the basis of my craft is really poetry. So all the hip hop that you hear me do, the soul, the R&B, it's all stem from poetry. I remember when I was a kid, I wrote this poem called "Scared." Um, it was a poem where I was talking about, everybody's home, but I hear the doorknob turn and sirens in the night and that type of thing. Kind of crazy for a kid to write, but as a young person growing up and you're still understanding the world, and I mean, shoot, we're still trying to understand the world, especially these days, and how we fit into it. And I think that's where God comes into play, and that's where purpose comes into play. So I went to University of Delaware, and that's where I started performing. Um, I was always writing poetry, mostly love poems for my girlfriend. But I loved writing poetry about the world, about what I saw, writing for other people. Um, the poem that I wrote and performed at University of Delaware, my first ever performance was called "The Wrong One," and it was a poem basically talking about being gay and it feeling like being convicted of murder. And it was a really deep poem. At the last line revealed actually what I was talking about. So I'd say at the end, because I love her and not him. And I thought that was a defining moment in my life. And because I was going through so much with the coming out process, I was forced out of the closet by my father, who gave me an ultimatum that either he was going to tell my mom if I didn't. So it was really tough for me. I think I'm still kind of realizing the effects that it had on me. But in essence, to God be the glory for my story, because of the hardships, because of the challenges, because of the struggles, all of it, I'm just able to be a bigger and a better person, allowing God to work through me, to bless others, God working within me to bless me. And so from UD, as I started to perform uh, my poetry on stage, I did some controversial performances, that's for sure. We won't get into that. But it was all in making a statement. And I think I did that. I'll never forget there was a female on campus who she just rode up on me on our bike and she was like, "Wow, I've been looking for you," and I wrote this letter for you. I've been carrying it around and I finally found you and I wrote this letter just, you know, thanking you and letting you know the impact of your performances. Just being that she was part of the LGBTQ family, and um, it was just me being open on campus was gave her the courage to be out and open and be who she is or was, and I just it meant a lot to me, and I think stories like that is why I do what I do. I remember there's a couple of times where, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2010. And so, in sharing my story about my mental health challenges on stage, sharing that on stage, really was impactful because people would come up to me and tell me, "Oh, I have split personality disorder," or "I suffer with depression," or "I suffer with anxiety," and they would just share with me what they've been going through and how hearing songs like "I Can Make It," which is a big song that I listen to when I'm going through, um, and it just encourages me that I can make it through anything, no matter what, as long as I stay close to God, as long as I put God first, He's gonna see me through it all. And so I'm grateful for the gifts that God's given me, and I pray that it's for me. It's not about I want to be the best at what I do, but my purpose is not about me. My purpose is about how I can help others, how I can inspire others, and how God is going to use me in each season for the rest of my life to be a minister to others and directing them to the truth and to the answer, which is God, which is Christ. And I feel like it does not come without burden, does not come without struggle. But God is good, and God's a redeemer, God's a deliverer, God's a healer, God's a way maker, and through it all, He's showing Himself true and faithful. And I appreciate all that He's done for me. Hip hop definitely came at a perfect time for me. I was performing at UD, and a local rapper heard me performing my poetry and said, "Hey, you need to put that over music." So boom, we went to the studio. I laid down a couple tracks, and that's where it really all started, in this basement studio in a house, and I'm grateful that God made that connection for me so that then I can start doing my thing and start branching out, and the rest is history.